Go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for our live, which we're doing every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Today, I've got some really special guests on the show, three lovely ladies who I've actually been working with in my British Brand Accelerator coaching program. And I've got these three on in particular because they all offer standout customer service. So I thought it would be really good to talk to them and get some of their insider tips on the customer service that they offer. So let me bring my guests in. Here they all are. Hi, ladies. How are you all?
Hi.
Hello, very well,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much for joining me, Linda, Sue, and Kate. So, shall we start just with a quick intro of what your business does, what it is that you sell, particularly what you sell that's made in the UK? So, should we start with you, Linda?
I sell a collection of women's wear, all made out of linen and made in the UK.
Brilliant, brilliant. And shall we go over to you, Sue? Tell everyone what it is you do.
Okay, so I'm from Maude Fox, and we design and make British tweed clothing for ladies and gents with an urban country chic bent, sort of like.
Brilliant. And it is urban country chic as well, isn't it? You've just come straight back from a show, haven't you, Sue?
I have, yeah, from Burley Horse Trials.
Brilliant. And finally, over to you, Kate. Just introduce who you are and what your business sells.
So I'm from Lime Tree Design. We sell quite a mix of things from lavender bags to a clothing range using block print, and we also have a jewellery range. So it's a bit of a mix, really.
Brilliant. I've been helping you make some of that in the UK, haven't I? And
Yeah, we're working with a range Liberty Work manufacturing in the UK.
Brilliant. So, as I said before, I think all of you, one thing you have in common and that has grown your businesses successfully is the customer service that you offer. And part of that is about knowing who your customer is. So, can you all tell me, and let's start with you, Linda, how did you go about working out who your ideal customer was?
Well, I started my business in 2008, and initially it had nothing to do with clothes. It was all about selling yarn, knitting needles, and knitting patterns that were my own designs. And I used to make the clothes that I'm selling to everybody now just for myself. And people at the shows kept asking, "Where did you buy that?" And after saying, "Well, you can't really, I made it for myself for 6 months or so," I thought, hang on a minute, there's clearly a need for this. So I started making the clothes that I was wearing and started selling them to the people that I saw at the shows. And a lot of those ladies are in my own age group and were really frustrated for very similar reasons that I had to make my clothes for myself, as in not being able to find the kind of clothes that they wanted to wear. And with seeing me wear the clothes that I was really comfortable in, they wanted a bit of that. So that's what I started giving them. So my first ideal customer was me, I guess.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, that is, you got the request from the customers first for the sort of product that they wanted, and then you offered it to them. And you knew them exactly. So, how about you? How did you, when you first started Maude Fox, find out who your ideal customer was?
Well, similar to Linda, really, our ideal customer was ourselves, and it sort of carried on like that, really, because when we moved to the country, kind of like looking at everyone and thinking, when we started the old country pursuits, like, why is everyone wearing like bag clothing, really? Sort of like very unshaped tweed clothing. So we kind of started from there, really. And so I sort of feel like all our customers are our friends. So they are sort of a similar type to ourselves, really.
Brilliant. And you totally understand them because of that. And I can see as well in the background, point out to everyone, actually to all of you, you've got one of your products in the background,
Yeah,
so has Linda.
yeah. And
Brilliant.
actually, what we did quite early on was actually come up with our taglines. So one of them is practical with flair, which kind of like all our clothing has to be really practical, but with a bit of a design edge. So we actually came up with our strap lines early on and like the urban country chic. So it tweed with a twist. So they really help define our designs and our customers.
Yeah, brilliant. And Kate, how about you? Because you sell quite a diverse range of products. So finding your ideal customers kind of evolved over time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's very much evolved. I mean, to start with, they found me because I was doing face-to-face selling, and they liked what I did, and it sort of became a sort of conversation. I'd see them quite regularly, but I think over time that's kind of developed, and I now have wholesale as well as retail clients, and so that's slightly different. That people are the same, but they're slightly different requirements in terms of customers.
Yeah, because a lot of your customers are international as well, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I think it really boils down to understanding their needs. So, and because I'm more gift based rather than fashion based, it's actually I need a gift for my niece, my daughter, whatever, and what they might like to give them. So it's understanding the world that they live in and the kind of the needs they have, really.
Mm. And what channels do you all use as the main way that you reach your customers? I mean, for Linda, I know for you, one of those is YouTube, isn't it? What other
Yes.
ways do you use to reach your customers?
Well, I still do a couple of the shows that I used to do when I was all about the yarn and the needles. And I still have some yarn, part of it linen. So I do like 1 or 2 shows a year, and the rest is all online sales in combination with sending out regular newsletters, having a presence on social media, and doing a twice a month podcast, like TV program, if you like, on YouTube, which is all about the clothes. But big part of the customer services go a step further and talk about styling those clothes, fitting them into your wardrobe, and that kind of stuff.
This is a good opportunity to give a plug for your channel then, Linda, just for anyone watching. What's the name of your channel on YouTube so they can see you?
Well, it's fittingly called The Slow Wardrobe.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And how about you, Sue? Because I know you've just come back from a fair, haven't you? A live event. You do a lot of live events. You're always buzzing when you come back from them. Is that
Yeah.
the main way that you work? Like you get
Yeah, I think it's the main way that we first meet customers, and then they tend to tell their friends. So it's a lot of word of mouth as well. So obviously we have our website. A lot of people who come to the events have seen us on Instagram. So there's now quite a few influencers who love our clothes as well, who will tell other people about them. But also, I think we get quite a lot of DMs on Instagram, so it's quite a kind of personal service as well. But obviously, our website, every now and then, people will come by appointment to our headquarters as well. So the initial contact is often an event, and actually, we're just redoing our website. We're going to be working a little bit more on digital marketing as well, because I do actually think it's something we need to do more of. But Instagram actually works really well for us, Instagram and Facebook.
That's interesting. So you DM people. It's not cold outreach to people, though, is it?
No, they will
Already
DM
contacted
me.
you.
So the DMs will come direct to me. So quite often, like we have actually on this mannequin, this little pink Patriot skirt at the moment, which we don't have on our website. So sometimes people might see it on our stand. So therefore they will DM, then I can phone them and work out, how they can actually order it.
Yeah, that's a really good idea because that also gets them following you and engaging with you when they're not seeing you at the shows as well.
Yeah. And the other thing is emails, which we don't do enough of. We know that, but we're working on it. But I do think emails work really well once you've got a really loyal customer base.
You've been reading my emails, haven't you, Sue? Because I'm always saying, make sure you're doing enough emails.
And obviously the other thing is also getting in magazines. I mean, that always works. But not for us, not so much a paid ad, but getting editorial. So even if it's just like a little picture in the Field magazine or something like that.
Yeah. And the important thing there, I think, is getting in the right magazines where your customers are. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Kate? Because you have got this kind of more diverse mixture of customers. What's the main way? I mean, particularly your customers maybe in the States. How do you go about getting your brand and your products in front of them?
So for retail, social media is really important because it's a really good way to kind of um, tell them who we are. It's less about the products and more about us. I mean, there's a certain amount of product, but it's about who we are. There's a small team of us. We work together. Any post with the dog on always gets a huge hit. So it's very useful from that point of view. We do email a fair bit, and we also have a paper catalogue, which we find really useful both for trade and for retail. Just we often get a better response from paper than we do from a email offer or something like that.
Really interesting. So, like the old-fashioned way,
Yeah.
printed, because not many people are doing it anymore.
And also, sometimes it's just really nice to sit down with a coffee and a pen and flick through some nice pictures and get some ideas and maybe plan. Sometimes I think you're bombarded when you're kind of just scrolling. Um, you've actually got something you can go back to. So for us, the catalogue works quite well. But for trade, our trade account, nothing beats face to face. So in lockdown, we couldn't do trade shows. That really was challenging to keep the communication going. Um, we've just started going back. For instance, we've just been back to America, had a fantastic show, and the culture there is very definitely face to face. So for us, face to face trade sales is fundamental, and we do quite a lot of them.
That's really good to hear. That's really good because it's much more personal, isn't it? When you're actually seeing people face to face and being able to talk to them, and actually all three of you then do face to face, don't and offer that personal touch. What
Well,
other? Sorry, Kate.
oh, sorry. I was just going to say the thing about face to face is it's two-way traffic. It's very easy for social media to be just talking at people. I think the key thing about face to face is they're telling you about what they want, what they need. You're it's listening.
Yeah, listening to your customers. That's a really good tip, definitely. And offering them a personal touch as well. What do each of you do as your kind of personal touch for customers that keeps them coming back for more? Linda, do you want to go with that one first?
I have a fair number of customers who contact me either via email or via the social media to get hints and tips about how they wear their clothes. I also invite them over to the studio if they can come here. And if they find that the standard sizes that I offer, like one of the, Sue was mentioning taglines before, one of the taglines that I use is every body happy, and not just in everybody, but every body. So I do my best to never say no if somebody wants to wear any of the clothes that we make. So if any of our standard sizes don't work, then I offer a bespoke made to measure service where we make fairly simple adaptations to the garments to make sure that they fit the bodies that want to be clothed by us. And that works really, really well. And people don't expect it and absolutely love it that you're willing to go the extra mile and say, we're going to do whatever we can to get you in one of our dresses and be happy wearing it.
That's brilliant. And do you charge extra for that?
In most cases, I don't. What I've got a loyalty program on the website where if I don't like websites that give a discount when you place your first order. I think that if people are interested to buy, they'll place that first order. And what I like better is to reward loyalty. So once you have placed an order for one of our garments, then any follow-up orders that you place as a returning customer, you get a standard 10% discount, like for life. And what I do in most cases is if somebody wears a bespoke size, then rather than giving that 10% discount, they end up paying the full price. And that goes, it doesn't always completely cover it, but it goes towards covering the extra costs that we make by making that as a bespoke separate garment.
Brilliant. That's really good. I love the idea of that, not giving a discount when someone places their, that first order, but when they come back to get them as a returning customer. Yeah, that's brilliant. Sue, what do you do as the personal touch? I know that you've told me that you actually pick up the phone and speak to people, don't you?
Yes, we do. I mean, I kind of feel that at events we've sort of made friends with a lot of our customers. So at something like the game fair, for example, that we've done year after year, our customers will often come on the first day to say hello, often couples wearing our, and they will come wearing their clothes, to say hello and to find out what's new. So it's just that personal recognition of people, chatting with them, and they always want to have something new because I feel like they feel they're supporting our little British company, but they love their clothes as well. But yes, also I do always encourage people to phone. So if someone DMs me, for example, I'll ask for their phone number and give them a call to discuss the product. And in addition to that, we do offer bespoke clothing. So, for example, recently there's an amazing photographer called Emma Ziff who, she's got like pink eyelashes. So we've just done her a coat, but with like a big pink patriot on the back. So it's very much her. But our bespoke things will always be based on one of our designs, just a kind of derivative of it. So, and the other sort of personal touches we will always do is like when we package up a company, we will write a personal note with the parcel, which, just feels right. It takes quite a long time, but it's, it just feels right to make that personal connection because often you feel like you know the people.
Yeah, so, exactly. Because all your companies, are fast-growing companies, and you're probably shipping out quite a lot. So you could be using a third-party logistics company to do that, and probably take yourself a lot of time, but you'd lose that connection. Kate, your business, do you ship anything out by a third-party company, or do you still do it all yourself?
No, I get approached a lot by them. We do it all ourselves, and there's a couple of really fundamental reasons on that. One, how it goes out is so important because at the end of the day, it's discretionary expenditure. So we're just really grateful that they're still buying from us. And so actually everything is packed nicely. It's got ribbon, it's got a personal note, it's got a thank you. And it's really important that when someone opens that parcel, they just have that lovely feeling you've got something new. And I just don't think, I think we're the ones who really think about that and care about it. And also, you pick up stuff. If you do it yourself, you pick up, oh, they've forgotten to put an address properly, or this doesn't make sense, or do they want, it gives you a chance to really think about what you're doing. So no, we haven't used a fulfillment house, and I don't think we ever will, actually.
Yeah, and also if you're packing it yourself, you're getting the opportunity to see what's being returned, what people are saying that they don't like and they do like. So it helps you to continue to understand who your customer is, doesn't it? Which you would
I think you
lose
lose a lot of information if you didn't have that, and you can then always just pick up the phone to your customer and talk to them, or email them. I think it's quite fundamental, actually.
Yeah, and that's also where small businesses can have the upper hand compared to all the big faceless, big retailers that got multiple stores, big distribution centres, and having that personal touch. Do any of you have any other tips about how you can offer a personal touch to customers? Is there anything else that any of you do that you'd like to give a tip on in terms of personal touch? Kate?
Well, I think what Linda was saying as well is about one size actually doesn't fit all. So we do lockets, which are made in Birmingham, but everybody has a different requirement for a chain length. So actually, we will do bespoke chains, or it's very personal jewelry. So they'll tell us some story about something that's happening in their life, and you have to respond to that. So actually not sticking to this is how it's come in packed, but actually, yes, we can change the stone and we can do that. And a smaller business can do that in a way a bigger one can't. And certainly in the feedback we get from customers, this is why they come to us and not Amazon. Because actually that's what they're getting. It's a sense of, I can have exactly what I want, not just what you think I should have. And also that's worth paying for. And they like the idea that they're supporting us and all the people in our village who make all our product. So I think that's going the extra mile. I think it is. It's really important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I really agree with the whole idea of going the extra mile. And in my case, when I was like kind of half jokingly saying, well, maybe I was my own first ideal customer, if coming from that kind of line of thinking, then I know now from experience that issues that are real issues for me in terms of how I present myself and what I wear are very similar for a lot of my customers. So, and I talk about that in the podcast. So when it comes to like body issues and shape issues, or even something as simple as saying, well, going through the menopause, you get these hot flushes. And when you were very comfortable in the past wearing wool, you may not be so comfortable now. And you know what? You can dress yourself differently to deal with that. And this is an idea of how you can go towards that, or how you can go about that. So issues that are live for me, I know are live for them. And I get a lot of feedback from people saying, I'm so glad you talked about that, but because I don't really know who to talk to or where to go to address this or that issue. And so personalizing even further by sharing some of my own personal opinions and personal issues is yet another step towards making a connection and feeling recognized and making them feel seen and heard.
Yeah, I think that you've raised a really interesting point there, Linda, because a lot of people think, okay, my business is growing, I'll outsource some of the marketing or the customer, dealing with customers, customer service, and you do lose that personal touch and you lose that feedback. And it is actually particularly with you and with Sue as well. I know the customers see you as your own brand ambassador at the
Yeah.
forefront of the brand, and you'd lose that if someone then took over doing your marketing and your sales for you. You also raised an interesting point there, Linda, about getting customer feedback. And I think that's really important. Like when you're serving a customer, have you got maybe Sue? Have you got ways that you gather customer feedback that you can recommend to people that gives you ideas for new product development, or maybe things that you aren't doing so well?
We don't have anything formal, mostly because I previously haven't been that organised. But actually, I would say on our show stands, because we get to know so many of our customers personally, I talk to them about what they would like next. So, for example, we have had one of our first things was fleece line tweed, which we still do. So, for example, we have the fur fly coat, and for men, the tweed hoodie. But now our best-selling coat, because we've just done Burley Horse Trials, the Game Fair and the Yorkshire Show, is by far and away the Maude, which was done with customer feedback. So it's got satin lining, fleece in the hood, beautiful shape, I have to say, and just looks amazing on everyone who puts it on. So that was directly done, obviously designed it, but with customer feedback about functional requirements, really, and with big pockets, with fleece lining. So it just feels good when you put it on. So we are always asking our customers, what they would like next, really. Yeah. So I mean, that's worked incredibly well with that coat. So just introducing the satin lining as an option has sort of made a big difference. Yeah. So, and we get quite a lot of feedback when people receive their clothes. They will often send an email to say how delighted they are with it, and could I then design them something to wear for crafts, for example, so they might buy something something off the peg to start with, and then go a little bit more elaborate.
How do you decide though what is one person requesting it that no one else is going to want, or that's something that someone's requested that you know that the majority of your customers will like?
Yeah, I think it's instinct, really. I think it's, you kind of get, obviously, you get to know your brand, you get to know your customers generally. So what I normally do is we normally make a prototype, actually take it to an event and trial it out. So that coat we trialed out and we knew was an immediate hit when we did it last year. It also has Teflon milled through, so it's weatherproof. So the latest things we're trialing are this pink skirt, and we've done a new poncho that can be converted into a scarf and with a detachable faux fur collar. So, but that's not been launched yet. So we're kind of getting feedback at the events, like live feedback.
Yeah, and of course you couldn't do that. I mean, a lot of your events are in the summer, aren't they? But your product is predominantly winter wear.
Yeah,
You couldn't
yeah,
do that if you weren't making in the UK either, because you'd have too long a lead time to be able to then turn that around after the shows.
yeah. And I think we're lucky in that we have our own makers. So, like if I come up with an idea, we can just go, boom, that's a really good idea, let's do it, rather than having to go through a massive long process. So we can kind of, make something fairly quickly, an idea. Whereas if we were sending it abroad, for example, it would take a really long time to kind of come back. So we can kind of turn ideas around quite quickly.
You do the same, don't you, Linda? You make a lot in-house as well.
Yeah, and it's now more of a combination of making in-house and out of house. But the in-house production means that, just like Sue says, you can turn things around really quickly. Or one of the things that she mentioned was that Sue just mentioned was taking something to a show and get feedback. One of the things that I do is making a sample of something, present it and wearing it at the podcast, and putting it out for as a pre-order. So people can order the garment, then we make them all in-house and send them out a couple of weeks later. So it's a made-to-order kind of thing that also it doesn't just give us feedback about whether a garment is going to be popular or not, but it also is a real vote of confidence from our customers whether a new design from their perspective fits in with their existing wardrobe.
Yeah, again, something you couldn't do if you weren't making in the UK.
Absolutely true.
And Kate, how about you? Because you've got a diverse range of different products. So do you get any customer feedback about what you're going to develop new?
On the retail side, yes, they definitely come to us and say, well, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. And if there's something that crops up a fair amount and we can see from sales trends, then we might look at that. I think there's slightly a danger if you're a design-led business that you don't just want to be too reactive. You do need to be thinking for yourself as well about where you feel the trends are and what you want to be looking at. But on the trade side of things, yes, if they are asking for product and they're starting to think in a certain way, then yeah, we do react to that. But if it's something I'm looking for this now for me now, then we'll probably sort it out there and then. It's really in terms of coming into the main collection, that will probably be from a trade customer looking for something particular.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I'm wondering if there's anyone here who's got a question for any of these three ladies about customer service or just about their businesses in general. If there is, please pop it in the comments. I know last week someone asked me a comment and I'd already disappeared before I saw it because there's a bit of a delay. So I will, while we're waiting to see if there's any comments or questions coming through, let me ask you ladies as well, do you have any other tips for how you build customer loyalty and how you get repeat customers? Because I think a lot of people, you can have that first customer that may not be that profitable. It's only when they come back as repeat customers that you start to, and getting loyal customers, that you start to have a really profitable business. What tips would you give as to how to get your customers coming back for more to your business rather than going to one of your competitors? Linda, do you want to take that one first?
Yeah, well, one of the things, surprisingly, really, especially from a small business perspective, is repetition. You need to be coming back a number of times to get people's attention. It's not just enough to show them something once. They are being shown and told and sent a lot of information from a lot of different sources, and showing them something once and then thinking, well, I've already shown them this, or I've already talked about that, I better not do it again. That's a real typical mistake for small businesses. It's like, don't be afraid to repeat. And, that's repeating the same message or repeating the same product in a different color, for example. But repetition is a really helpful, also from the customer's perspective, tool to get their attention and keep their attention. And again, if I go back to myself, sometimes I'll look at something 3 or 4 times before I actually decide to buy it, especially if it's a more expensive item or garment. So repetition is the one word I can summarize that with.
And I think that's true now more than ever, as people find it are going to be spending a little bit longer, I think, making decisions about whether to spend their cold hard cash when they've got other things that they're worrying about and they've got to spend their money on. So actually being forefront of people's minds and not being afraid to show them the same thing, like you say, again and again, and repeating old favorites as well. Yeah, definitely. Sue, do you have any tips for how you get your customers to come back repeatedly?
I don't think I really overthink it, to be honest, but I would say that we end up with some of our products are kind of like what they view as must-have products. So we had someone after the Yorkshire show, we did the game fair just over a week after, and she said she'd been dreaming about it. So she literally came on with the clothes to go with the skirt that she bought and then wore it all around the game fair, which was great. So to her, it was a must-have item, and she was a repeat customer. And I think some of our customers really, they will save up to have our clothes. So again, what Linda's saying is that, like, keeping it in the mind. So and we have some great people who put themselves on Instagram wearing our clothes. We have a new website coming out, actually, and we will have a hashtag. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet, like wearing Maude Fox, for example, and then it will go onto our little Instagram grid. So again, I think it's really important for people to see other people looking really happy in your clothes. Well, for us anyway, it's one of our things that everyone has, is all our customers seem to be very happy, fun people. So they kind of sell it. If they come on our stands, they start selling it to other people, our loyal customers. So yeah, and repeat couples is another thing. Couples are really, the Maude Fox couple, they will kind of talk each other into buying something, which is great. But I never push a sale. I want people to genuinely love their clothes, so they will come back because they love it. Yeah, so that's me not overthinking it, but I obviously think about it a bit.
I love that. So you're using other happy customers to refer
Yeah.
their friends to you. And I suppose also because you do a lot of shows and you get the same people, I would imagine, going to Burley as the game fair, then they see each other as well time and time again, and they've got that stamp of approval that they're part of the Maude Fox crowd.
Yeah, and we took part in a fashion show last, when was that? Earlier on this year in York. So a lot of the people in that were like the kind of country influencers. So again, they will then put themselves on Instagram or whatever, and people see them, but they love wearing them. I think it's really important that people feel great in the clothes. So that is a kind of, so you want more. Yeah.
Plus, your clothes always look really cuddly and furry and warm.
They are.
cozy.
Yes, and flattering. I think it's really important that they're flattering. And like Linda was saying earlier, obviously everyone's different sizes. So I've had many a big curtain tape measure out, measuring large men and that kind of thing. You know, so they want to come back and order something because they love having something made that actually fits.
Mm.
You know, that is another aspect, really.
Back to that personal touch again, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then Kate, how about you? What other ideas do you have about how you get customers coming back? You obviously have your printed catalogue, which I absolutely love. And how many times a year do you send that, by the way? Do anything else like that?
Yeah, we send the catalogue twice a year. I mean, there's this phrase, isn't there? You don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Actually, I think the key thing about retaining customers is having a really good first experience, and I think that goes a long way, so that they feel safe buying from you, and they know they're going to get a good experience. They know the product's going to be what they expected. And if there is a problem, that you sort it out. I think that's really key. I think it's taking away the uncertainty. They've got so much choice, so many websites that they can choose to buy from. Then actually, because I tend to not be face-to-face selling for retail, then I think it's really important that they have that confidence that it's all going to go okay. And if there is an issue, like, I don't know, goes missing in the post, we'll sort it out, no questions. And I think that's probably, usually we find people coming back to say, I did an order before and you were really helpful, so I'm going to do it again. And actually, that's the most important thing, is getting people back. But we are talking all the time, you know, we're sending emails out, we're on social media, you know, we're changing the collection. So there's this constant communication. And the buying seasons come along: Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, Mother's Day. There's always a need.
There is constant communication. I think that is a really good one. You've had so many fantastic tips that you've given everyone here, but I think constant communication, the personal touch, doing things for people that are bespoke, that are slight adaptations of what you already do, but that make people feel special because they're getting something more bespoke. That you don't use anyone else to ship out your products, and that you do face-to-face interaction with your customers whenever you possibly can as well. So I don't think we've got any questions from anyone. If anyone does have any last minute questions for any of these ladies here, then please pop them in the comments. Otherwise, Linda, Sue and Kate, can you just let everyone know where they can find you, to pop over to your website so they can experience your supreme customer service firsthand? Linda, tell everyone where they can best find you.
Okay, well, the website is theslowwardrobe.co.uk, and YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it's all The Slow Wardrobe. Same everywhere.
Brilliant. And then over to you, Sue. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so our website is maudeandfox.com. You can link into our Instagram and off there. So we're also on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, actually. So we're at Maude and Fox on all of those.
And all the details of all the shows that you're doing are on your website as well.
They're on our website. We don't do a humongous number of shows. We just do really quite big ones now. So we've got our next one will be Cheltenham Races in November, if anyone wants to come along.
Brilliant. Anyone that's watching this in the past as well can find all the different events that you do throughout the year as well, can't they?
Yes.
And Kate, finally, where can people find Lime Tree Design?
So our retail site is limetreedesign.com, and there's an Instagram feed on there. We also do Facebook, Twitter, a whole range of things. And then our trade site is limetreecollection.com.
Brilliant. Or at various different shows throughout the year as well?
Yeah, so we're out and about. We do Top Draw this weekend.
Good luck. How exciting. Gosh, that's come round quick. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, all three of you, for joining me today. You've been absolutely amazing. If you're watching this and you want to see more interviews and with amazing British brands like these ladies here, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. Press the bell. That's what you say, isn't it, Linda, when you try and get people to subscribe to your YouTube?
Yeah, because pressing the bell as well means that you get notified when there's a new video out.
Perfect. Linda's a YouTube pro. Thank you so much, ladies. And I will see you all very soon. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.